think I'm going crazy. I feel things. I'm too much. I'm too overwhelmed. Hello, all. This is Nikki Cameron back with another episode of Unpacking Me, the parts of trauma no one talks about.
And I'm your co-host, Myrnell St. Jean, here along for the ride.
The fear many people who experience trauma have is that when they start to feel the symptoms, when the awareness starts to increase, or the coping skills stop working, they think that this is a sign that they're breaking down. But on the contrary, it's a sign that you're getting better. You're not going crazy. You're actually moving out of the trauma vortex into the healing vortex, oftentimes. So, oftentimes, I have individuals who they come into therapy, they are dissociated, they're just surviving, doing what they need to do to get back. And in that state, there's this sense of numbness, or they feel disconnected, just robotic, just moving like a robot. Everything is automatic and they can't feel, they're numb. But at some point in the healing, most everyone starts to have this terrifying thought: I think I'm going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not saying this only happens in healing, because
It
people will
happened.
come into therapy feel like they're going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want us to take a look into that, because what people are labeling or viewing as them going
Going
crazy
Mm-hmm.
is actually their bodies trying to protect them, their brain's way of trying to protect them. And it is my hope that people will walk away understanding that if going crazy means that your body's trying to keep you safe so you don't crash and burn, then embrace it. Become curious about it. Don't get caught up in the stigma of crazy is bad, or redefine what you're going crazy means.
Mm-hmm.
And when people say that to me, I'll tell them, well, if you are going crazy, you are in the right company,
Hey,
because we're going to work through the crazy together. Because sometimes that can be so devaluing of self, of seeing yourself going crazy, when oftentimes what is needed is you just needed to have a safe space where you could be witnessed and supported and guided, so that your nervous system could feel safe enough to shift out of the massive dysregulation it's experiencing,
Right.
into feeling healed and whole and held and loved and supported.
And I think that's what the state is of the going crazy, is that state when you start to increase awareness in the
Yes.
healing process,
Yeah.
which is going to feel like the symptoms are getting worse because
Yes.
you're more aware of them.
Yes. Yes.
They've
Yes.
always been there. You just now you're more aware that they exist. So now you're more focused on, oh no,
Yeah, you can feel
I
them now.
feel them now.
Yeah.
And so that's that state. And it's not that you're going crazy, it's just that you have more awareness.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Like an awakening that I have a body.
Exactly. And now, because I just realized I have a body and I haven't been living in that body for so long,
Yeah.
did you know my arm hurt from time to time?
Yes,
Or
or
did
the
you know
leg.
the leg?
This might sound funny to some, but it's
Right.
actually not.
It's the
There are
reality.
many people walking around who can't feel their legs.
Or hungry.
That. Or
Because
know when it's time to go to the restroom.
because they're not in their body.
No.
Yeah.
No. Because the same body they're disconnected from, in most instances, they experience harm in.
Yes.
Someone somewhere along the line, or a group of people along the line, did things to that body that the individual lived in or lives in, and it no longer became a sacred space for them. So people will walk around disconnected. And so I tell people when I'm working with them, whenever you hear me say, what do you notice?
Mm-hmm.
Or how is that landing?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm actually doing is I'm training your mind and your body to start become curious about each other.
Yes.
So if I keep doing this session after session with you, you might not even realize that we're practicing. And in practicing doing that, after a while, I will hear people say, oh, I feel tightness in my chest. And
You
it
start doing
jolts
it on
them
your own.
because the first time
Yeah.
they're realizing that they do have some sense of feeling.
Mhm.
And numb is a feeling state, by the way,
Yes.
because so many people shame themselves for feeling numb.
Numb. It's so
Yeah.
true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Because in as the symptoms intensify, they eventually get softer because you learn how to your capacity to deal with them and your capacity to heal them
Yes.
becomes bigger.
Yes. Yes.
And therapy assists in removing the numbing
Mm-hmm.
and helping you come back to a state of sensation.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why people panic,
Yeah.
because I went from not feeling anything
To feeling
to now I can feel my feels.
and feels are scary
Right.
because I
Right.
didn't want to feel them, which is why I didn't feel
Right.
them.
Not to say sometimes others don't get flooded with intense emotions and are always feeling.
I mean, yes.
That's the other side of it.
Right.
What we're talking about is labeling yourself as going crazy when what's happening is your body is still replaying the past daily.
Yes.
Every single day,
Yes.
your body might be reliving what happened to you at age 10, age
Yeah.
7,
Yeah.
age 20, every single day.
Yeah.
And so for you, being in the bed might feel unsafe. Getting out of the bed might
I feel
feel unsafe
unsafe.
because your body hasn't had a chance to feel safe enough to recalibrate, reset itself into a safe mode.
Right.
And it's important to understand what is going on, that when your emotions start to feel louder, your body is reacting faster,
Mm-hmm.
emotions and memories start to show up from the past, and it will cause you to question your sanity of, am I going crazy? So we're talking about the fear of it, it's not madness, it's your nervous system finally starting to feel safe enough to shift out of being stuck.
Right. It's an activation state.
Yes.
An active
Yeah.
state when the trauma, the experience or the whatever it is that you dealt with begin to show up for you as you're navigating your way out of it. It's like
Yes.
it's like getting sick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more intense before
Mm-hmm.
it gets
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of people think that it shouldn't have a level of intensity,
Yeah.
but that's how you know you're hurt. That's
Yeah.
how you know you're in pain
Mm-hmm.
because you feel the pain.
Right.
And so you could heal and move past the pain.
Yeah. The other piece of it is many of us were not trained or helped to become tolerant of discomfort.
No.
Some of us, we don't want to feel any discomfort
What do
whatsoever.
you mean discomfort?
And really,
I feel that.
the best thing one can ever do is learn how to feel bad.
Yeah.
Learn that feeling bad isn't always dangerous. Feeling bad is really your body, your all parts of you being fully expressed in the emotion or the sensations
Yeah.
that you're having. But because we were never able to, maybe the space wasn't provided,
Right.
or it wasn't taught to us,
We lose a form of resiliency.
we don't even develop
We
sometimes.
don't develop it.
And
Yeah.
we don't want to feel bad at all.
And unfortunately, if you keep ignoring the bad, how do you know you're feeling the good?
Right.
How do you know how to appreciate the good?
Because you can't turn off anger and sadness and think
No,
you're going to be able to
to
experience joy
happiness, right?
freely.
You can't.
They're all interconnected, unfortunately. And I know this is intense and I know it can be overwhelmed. The best thing you can do, though, is to start to be curious little by little, right? And
Mhm.
understanding that as your awareness increase and your symptoms start to feel worse, it it really is a sign that your body might be a sign that your body is shifting out of the stuck, helpless, overwhelmed state that it's in toward healing.
And I want to name that in that state of trauma activation, I'm going crazy. This is where you're learning new skills.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage us, our listeners, that in that state of learning new skills, it's just kind of like riding a bike. You're going to fall.
Yeah.
And you have to get back up.
Yeah.
You can't use the skill one time and
No.
think it's going to help. it has to be a continuously learning how to
Practice.
put the skill into practice.
Yeah. That is my favorite word, practice.
Mhm.
Because if you take this healing process as something that you're practicing,
Yeah. Ooh,
you're
that's good.
practicing changes toward the ultimate healing that you're looking for. And
Mhm.
healing is never a destination,
No,
and it is not a straight line.
no.
But if you understand that it really comes with practice, I mean, I remember in the last episode, you pointed out to me that a lot of my healing didn't happen in therapy. It
Mm,
didn't happen in therapy because instead of being online, looking on stuff to laugh and whatnot, not that I've never done that, I wanted to learn more about my brain.
mm.
I wanted to understand my nervous system. I wanted to understand what emotions were because I was hell bent on no longer being controlled by the heaviness.
So you went on a healing journey
Yes,
because healing is a
it
journey.
is a journey. And so the more I learned, the
Mm,
less afraid I felt.
mhm.
And it was hard.
It is
It
hard.
is hard
It's
and
very
it's still hard, right?
because it's a process that you get better at it,
Yes.
but it does get it is hard. It does get hard.
Yes, and this journey of going crazy versus trauma activation of feeling like I'm going crazy, understand that the activation is a state of being. It's your way of being.
Mm.
It's really
It's
not
not
attached to
who
your
you are. It's
identity.
not me.
So if I'm having intense emotions and I feel like I'm spiraling out of control,
Mm.
that's not my identity.
It's kind of like anxiety, right?
Right.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm just an anxious person."
Oh,
That's
yeah.
you're not an
Yeah.
anxious person
Yeah, we tend to tie the symptoms
to the
to our
identity.
being,
Hmm.
which really they're two separate things. It's you're not necessarily becoming unstable. Your system is learning how to recenter, recalibrate.
It's
And
learning a new skill.
yeah, and so the emotional flooding, the crying more, feeling irritated or overwhelmed, questioning your sanity, all of it are typically they're all typical signs that your system is wanting to shift out of a distressed state.
You know, when I want to say when the nervous system shifts
Yeah.
out of a survival mode,
Mm-hmm.
it oftentimes feel like chaos
Yes.
before the
Yes.
calm
Yes.
of the
Yes.
storm.
Yes.
And that's just that shifting out of it.
Yes. And this is why integration is so important. We talk
Mm-hmm.
about, okay, so the processing happens,
Mm-hmm.
but can we take a look at the shifts?
Mm-hmm.
What has changed?
Mm-hmm.
What is different? How
Mm-hmm.
can this be applied to how I was and who I am now? And
Exactly.
what's different so my body can and my brain can rewire around it.
Right.
And so triggers to this process is when there's boundary setting issues.
Mm.
Now I'm having to set boundaries, and
That's a
before
hard one
before
for
I was people pleasing.
yeah.
Now
Oh.
now I'm telling people no,
Whew.
and now I feel like death and guilt when I say nah. No.
Yeah.
Now I'm not as dissociated. Now I'm back. Now I feel like I'm here in the moment.
And how do I stay
Now,
here in this
now I'm
moment?
feeling grief and sadness for the parts of me that's been just on automatic,
I
right? So it can, like you said, it will feel like chaos, right?
mm-hmm.
So and then shame shows up.
Shame, a good old friend, shame.
Shame, that reflexive response of shame shows up to deal with the chaos of it all.
Yes.
The feelings of I'm
I'm
too
too much. Yeah. I should be over this.
Yes.
Why
Why
am
am I a
I
grown woman or
why
a
am
grown
I still
man
on this?
comparing ourselves to
Yes.
others, right?
Yeah. And a lot of the times is that we need to understand that symptoms are communication.
Mm-hmm.
The symptoms are trying to tell us something,
Yeah.
and although it's hard to listen,
Yeah.
but if we listen, that's how we move out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Confusion doesn't mean that you're incompetent. Because confusion does show up as well. And it makes us feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm
Mm-hmm.
incompetent, I should be able to figure this out. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you're incompetent. It just means that you're in a state of confusion because this is a new experience for you. You haven't been here. You've been pushing it down. We've been ignoring it. We haven't really dealt with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that part where, and this is my favorite one. Oh, I feel sensitive. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
crying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel
Mm-hmm.
a little soft.
Mm-hmm.
And then we automatically judge it as weakness.
Well, if you think about it, people are judged for being authentic.
That's
People are
true.
judged for feeling what they feel. So I totally get it, but you
Mhm.
literally have to make a commitment to yourself that you are going to stop masking,
Masking.
pretending with yourself.
Yeah. And just because you're sensitive at that moment, it doesn't mean you are weak.
No,
It doesn't mean that you're not a strong or whatever version of
right.
life you want to give, whatever title you want to give yourself.
Yeah.
It just means
Yeah.
that at this moment you're feeling an emotion and we're learning how to deal with
We're
that.
learning how to deal. We're learning how to be autonomous
Yes.
and empowered in having
Yes.
what we feel. Sometimes I'll call people out on things and they'll say, you're being a bit sensitive, Nikki. And I go, damn right I am.
Yeah. I'm
Yes.
sensitive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That did not feel good.
I
So
was
yes, my senses are on high alert.
Somebody said to me once, "Oh, you're a therapist. You shouldn't feel like this." I said, "Because I'm a therapist, I feel like this, and
Exactly.
I'm gonna name my
Yeah.
feeling."
Yeah. And it comes with practice, right?
It
Because
does.
we weren't always in the space
No,
we were able
definitely not.
to be assertive, but it's the journey. It's being willing to take the risk to bet on yourself for
Oh,
once.
and that's scary.
Bet on yourself for once. Make a commitment to commit to you. And it might sound scary as hell,
Mm-hmm.
making a commitment to mind your business and stay focused on you,
Are
which is
you?
literally what I had to do.
And it's not selfishness. It's
Yeah.
just learning. It's just healing.
You deserve it.
Yourself.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
So I want you to say out loudly with me, I am safe right now.
Mm.
This feeling will pass. I have support. I am safe right now. This feeling will pass. I have support. And just allow yourself as best as you can to just be with whatever comes up when you say this. And if nothing comes up, that's okay too, you know? So just know that our emotions tend to peak for about the first 90 seconds. And when they come, just
Breathe.
breathe. If breathing doesn't work, go outside in nature, take off your shoes, stand in the grass,
Yeah.
or literally go hug a tree or touch a tree because the tree contains energy in the
Yeah.
grass. And you do too. And cold water on the wrist. I tell people get ice cubes
Mm-hmm.
and put it in the middle of both hands and squeeze it and count to 10 and release so that your system can help to rebalance itself naturally. And just journal. What am I feeling? When was the last time I felt like I was more centered? And what shifted? What do I need? Get into the habit of checking in with you.
Yes. And just a reminder, you're not going crazy. You're just becoming conscious.
And if you're going crazy,
Come on over.
that's right.
We will work through
Yes.
it. But it's just a state of consciousness beginning to take place.
Yeah.
Awareness is beginning to settle in. We're beginning to work on the thing that we've been putting away and ignoring and hurting and just acting like it doesn't exist. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to feel like we're going crazy because in our vocabulary, that's the best word that we have to
Right.
explain it, to be honest.
Right.
But
I
it's
get that.
but it's just an activation state.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're activated, then you can become deactivated.
Mm-hmm.
That's how energy works.
Yes. Yes.
And so while awareness can feel destabilizing at first, it's also the doorway to freedom. And I want us to remember that. And as we remember that, I want us to stay,
Mm-hmm.
to breathe, and to remember it's okay to ask for support. That's a hard one for all of us, for some of us, but I know we can do it. You're not broken. You're just waking up.
Yeah.
You're not crazy.
And healing is freedom.
Healing is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Healing comes with some pain.
Yeah.
Healing comes with some activation.
Yes.
But on the other side
Oh.
of healing, there's so much freedom, so much self consciousness, so much authority, so much of you wait on the other side for you.
Yes.
And so, thank you for joining us this episode. We really appreciate you guys. We love to hear from you. So please check out our Instagram.
Emergent Counseling LLC.
Yes, leave us feedback.
Yeah.
Send us your questions, your topics. We would love to share to work on them.
And share this episode with a friend or family members. Text it to them.
Yes.
DM, put it in their DMs. Whatever it is that you do to share, send it on WhatsApp. Just get it out there. Spread the word.
Yeah.
Because we want people to not feel alone.
These are some deep topics, and I think we need others to hear them. Until next time, be kind to yourself because you deserve it.